Well, when they say that somebody's falling down on the job, usually they mean it figuratively. But when it comes to Joe Biden, he just keeps physically falling down. He's very old, which means it's kind of scary. And the big headline from the afternoon is that Joe Biden fell over again. So this isn't just him like on a stationary bike falling over. He's a pretty hard fall right here. So he is trying to walk off the stage, and apparently he trips on a sandbag of some sort, and he goes down pretty hard. Ooh, boy. So he goes down hard, and then he tries to get up, and he's having some trouble, like, getting to his feet. He has to have, like, 2-3 other people help him up to his feet. He has to have Secret Service jump up and help him to his feet right there. Okay, so this raises a question. Are we allowed to laugh or are we not allowed to laugh? So this is a binary question. The reason I ask the question is because we are being told by the media simultaneously that the man is hale, healthy, fit, and ready to go. And also you're not allowed to laugh when he falls down, which is not accurate. Okay, let's put it this way. My wife and I have a bit of an arrangement at our house. If I bump my head, the normal reaction that I will get is that she will laugh hysterically. If I bump my head and it requires stitches because I'm bleeding, then she doesn't. In other words, and this is true for pretty much all the people you know. Inherently, when people fall down, it's funny. When people get seriously hurt, it is no longer funny. So here is the problem. If you say that Joe Biden is just ready to go, he's ready, he's physically able, then him falling down on a stage is funny. In the same way that it's funny when any other president falls down on a stage. If, however, you recognize the reality, which is that Joe Biden is a fragile elderly gentleman and that he could have fallen down and broken a hip, and that could have become his decline to the coffin, then it's really not very funny, right? And so the immediate response of the media is pretty telling, because their immediate response was not, oh, isn't that funny? Oh, what a foible. Their immediate response was, oh my God, that's a little scary. Well, if it's a little scary, maybe he shouldn't be the president of the United States. He's 80 years old. Because again, as I say, the media have no problem mocking the living hell out of people who are hale and healthy when they fall down. Gerald Ford, famously in the 1970s, was the president of the United States, and he fell down a flight of airline stairs. He's coming off the stairs of Air Force One, and he fell down. And remember, Gerald Ford is not only was he, sort of in the prime of his life. I mean, he was not an old man when this happened. Gerald Ford was probably the most athletic president we've ever had in the history of the country. He was literally an All-American for University of Michigan football. So he fell down the stairs, and here's what that looked like.
For President Ford, the year seemed full of snags. In June, he fell down the plane steps on arriving in Austria. But a whole lot more serious were the two attempts to assassinate him.
Right, it's raining and it's slippery, and he fell down and he immediately gets right back up. And then he moves to shake the hand of the person who he is supposed to meet. This became endless fodder for Chevy Chase on Saturday Night Live. In fact, many people believe that it was Chevy Chase's ridiculously stupid impression of Gerald Ford that basically lost him the presidency. It was a very close reelect effort for Gerald Ford in 1976 against Jimmy Carter. And one of the key factors people think is the widespread perception that Ford was a ridiculous figure promoted by people like Chevy Chase. I mean, Chevy Chase literally became uber famous because he would pretend to fall down, like over and over and over, like skit after skit after skit on SNL. Gerald Ford fell down in the rain, got immediately back up. You can see it. And this became the fodder for like months at a time for Chevy Chase falling down in non-funny fashion, by the way.
I know a fellow.
He's drinking from an empty
cup. Enter the New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Florida, and every other primary. And I know he is going to win. And if he has any other competition, right up to the end of 1976. Thank you. Hey. Uh-oh. No problem. No problem. And if I don't win, I will continue
cheap laughs
to run
happening
the
here at
primaries,
SNL.
even if there are none. And now for my second announcement.
So he fell down like once from and the endless fodder for cheap laughs from Chevy Chase. He was 61 years old when he took office as president of the United States in 1974. By the time of the election, he was 63, 17 years junior to Joe Biden. Right? And endless mockery. And it wasn't just Chevy Chase. You remember that Donald Trump, when he was president of the United States, and he was significantly younger at that point than Joe Biden is now, this is June 14th, 2020. He was walking down a ramp at West Point because he was afraid that it was slippery. And so he walked down sort of gingerly down the ramp. You'll remember this. And he's taking that ramp pretty slowly, right? And it's kind of mockable because obviously he's not kind of going down with alacrity. And according to the media, this went viral on social media and raised questions about his health. Okay, so it raised questions about his health that he went down a ramp slowly at West Point. Not only did it raise questions, the entire late night team mocked Trump over the ramp. Right? It was a laugh a minute over the ramp. Here's the entire late night team doing that.
Very slowly tippy-tapping down the ramp, tentatively, like he's walking barefoot on sharp rocks. Oh, maybe the bone spurs are acting up?
Yeah, apparently Trump was a little sensitive about the incident because he then tweeted, "The ramp that I descended was very long and steep, had no handrail, and most importantly, was very slippery. Final 10 feet I ran down to level ground. Momentum." Yep, that's about the only momentum Trump has right now.
For a guy who constantly talks about how tough he is, he sure walks like a baby deer on a frozen pond. What is wrong with him?
A ramp can't be both long and steep. The longer a ramp is, the less steep it gets.
It was a slip and slide. You're saying the West Point ramp was a slip and slide. It was a very treacherous ramp, coated with oil, littered with banana peels.
Now we know why he launched his 2016 campaign coming down an escalator. If it had been a ramp, he'd still be coming down.
Okay, so bad writing, but remember, it was endless mockery, endless fodder. You know, as we'll see in just a second, no one makes fun of Joe Biden when he falls down, which suggests one of two things. Either the media have a massive double standard, that when a Republican does something that is clumsy or awkward, it becomes fodder for literally years, right? Marco Rubio is still mocked for having had a bottle of water in the middle of a speech in like 2012. For years, they continue to play this idiotic game. So yes, or they are afraid of mocking Joe Biden over this because he is an 80-year-old man who fell down. Picture the perfect summer night. The kids aren't actually bugging me for a change. The dog is behaving. Everything's great. The family's over for a barbecue. The grill should be sizzling with delicious food. But alas, the propane tank curses upon it. It is empty. And this is where our friends at Cinch come in. Cinch is a propane grill tank home delivery service. They deliver propane tanks directly to your door on your schedule. They don't require any long-term commitment or subscription. Plus, delivery is completely contact-free. You don't have to wait around at home. Track the order on the Cinch app from anywhere. The perfect summer night. It will not be complete without that working propane tank, and you can't get that without Cinch. Go to cinch.com or download the Cinch app and use promo code Shapiro. Get your first tank exchange for just $10. That is CYNCH.com. Promo code Shapiro. It's a limited time offer. You have to live within a Cinch service area to redeem it. Visit cinch.com/offer for details. Nothing worse than you start a barbecue and then you realize the propane tank is empty and you got to run over to the local store. Don't do that again. Instead, head on over to cinch.com, promo code Shapiro. That's CYNCH.com, promo code Shapiro to get your first tank exchange for just $10. If you run a small business, you need to plan ahead. One of the best ways to do that is by using Stamps.com to help mail and ship. Stamps.com lets you print your own postage and shipping labels directly from your home or office. It's ready to go in minutes, so you can get back to running your business sooner. Stamps.com offers rates you can't find anywhere else, like up to 84% off USPS and UPS. Plus, they automatically tell you your cheapest and fastest shipping options. For 25 years, Stamps.com has been indispensable for over 1 million businesses. Get access to the shipping services you need to run your business right from your computer. No lines, no traffic, and no waiting. You can print postage wherever you do business. They even send you a free scale, so you'll have everything you need to get started. Here at Daily Wire, we don't waste our time. We've used Stamps.com since 2017. Set up your business for success by getting started with Stamps.com today. Sign up with promo code Shapiro for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and free digital scale. No long-term commitments, no contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click that microphone at the top of the homepage, enter code Shapiro. Again, Stamps.com. It's going to save you tons of time, tons of money. You don't got to schlep your packages down to the post office instead. Let Stamps.com take care of it for you. Stamps.com, click that microphone at the top of the homepage and enter code Shapiro. Okay, so the entire media are like, well, we're not making fun of this. It's obviously a very, very serious situation. And so it's been nothing but deep care and concern about the president of the United States, which lets the cat out of the bag. They're all worried about his health. He's 80 years old. When an 80-year-old man falls down, that's scary. I know. I still have one living grandparent who's, thank God, in her very, very late 90s. But as soon as grandma and grandpa hit their 70s, you start to worry about them slipping and falling in the shower, breaking a hip, and then getting an infection at the hospital, right? I mean, this is serious stuff. Joe Biden goes down real hard. And then apparently on his way off of Air Force One, he also bumped his head. But you're not allowed to make fun of that either, right? So Gerald Ford fell down like a wet flight of stairs, like 3 stairs. Endless mockery. Donald Trump didn't fall down. He just went down the ramp slowly and gingerly. Endless mockery. Joe Biden is like the Three Stooges combined. He's like poking himself in the eyes with both of his fingers. And then he's walking directly into cream pies while slipping on banana peels and falling over. And it's like, don't laugh. Don't laugh, because that could be life endangering. I know it could be life endangering, man. So I'm not really laughing so much. So here was Joe Biden yesterday responding to falling down. Got sandbag. Look how fit as a fiddle he is. Did you see that? He did a little jump step right there. That dude looks like he's ready to run a marathon. Or alternatively, when he did that little jump step, everyone in the press went, no, don't do it. Don't do it, Joe. My favorite part of the clip, actually, is when he actually falls down in the original clip, he starts pointing back at the sandbag. I go, look, it tripped, it jumped out, it bit me. It jumped out and it bit me, the sandbag. It's pretty good. Play the clip again, just so we can see him actively pointing at the sandbag that was on the floor and is, in fact, a sandbag, and apparently it jumped out and bit him. Here he goes again. Boom, right? He goes down. I like when people are still sort of cheering. They don't know what's going on. Okay, well, here's the part where he gets up and he's going to point back. Look, it's a sandbag. It did it. The sandbag did it. Okay, Sherlock, you've detected the culprit. Well done there from the President of the United States. Well, the Republican candidates responded. Donald Trump responded last night saying, well, I hope he wasn't hurt, which is pretty good.
He just fell on what stage? He's at the Air Force Academy. He actually fell down? Well, I hope he wasn't hurt. I hope he wasn't hurt. But it's the whole thing is crazy. You got to be careful about that. You got to be careful about that, because you don't want that. Even if you have to tiptoe down a ramp, you got to
Credit to Trump. The dude still has an amazing sense of humor. And meanwhile, Ron DeSantis responded as well to Joe Biden falling over.
Now, he did see, I think a lot of people saw, he had a fall at this Air Force event. And, you know, I don't know if he sustained injuries, but I just want to say that we hope and wish Joe Biden a swift recovery from any injuries he may have sustained. But we also wish the United States of America a swift recovery from the injuries it has sustained because of Joe Biden and his policies.
Fair as well. The rest of the show continues right now. You're not going to miss it. We're going to be getting into the absolute lies that were told by the media on a repeat basis with regard to COVID vaccines with Rob Aurora. If you're not a member, become a member. Use code Shapiro at checkout for 2 months free on all annual plans. Click that link in the description and join us.